Welcome back to EDH on a Budget. I'm your host Iceman, and today we're going to be going over the top 3 firebending budget cards. By budget, I mean $2 or less on TCG players' market value or market price. And first up, we have Boiling Rock Rioter. This costs 2 and a black. It's a creature human rogue ally. Has firebending 1, which is whenever this creature attacks, add 1 red mana. This mana lasts until end of combat. And it is a 3/3 power and toughness with tap an untapped ally you control, exile target card from a graveyard. So I do like that this can tap itself along with any other ally or changeling you have to be instant speed graveyard hate. But if you're exiling your own creatures, allies specifically, then the next part is going to be extra important. Whenever this creature attacks, you may cast an ally spell from among cards you own exiled with this creature. So if you're exiling allies from your graveyard, then you get to recast them when this creature attacks. So interestingly enough, that means that those creatures that are allies get to be instant speed cast because you have to cast this during combat when this creature attacks. So it doesn't necessarily have to go into an ally deck. Because this is an ally, you can use this as instant speed graveyard hate. The firebending 1 is it's not the biggest bump in mana, but it is pretty nice, especially if you have like clues or junk tokens or even food, just anything lying around for activated abilities. There's a lot of lands that have activated abilities, because you do have to use it during combat, otherwise you lose it. So that is how I would take advantage of this, by having lands and artifacts and just activated abilities ready to go. There is plenty of mono black cards that cost a black and a generic mana, and this can be used to pay for the generic mana. So instant speed removal in black for 2 mana, easy. It's pretty easy to do. So it would in a way turn those 2 mana removal into 1 mana. This card costs about 23 cents. Next up, we have Fire Nation Occupation for 64 cents. It's an enchantment for 2 and a red. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with firebending 1. And whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with firebending 1. So there is very, very little restriction on this card. Any spells cast during your opponent's turn will trigger this. It is not once per turn. You can get quite the board state out of nowhere with this, assuming you have lots of flash and instant speed cards. The firebending 1 is nice, but the bodies this creates is even nicer because you can create so many. You can easily get a total for a firebending 2, 3, 4, 5, and it starts to add up. Again, you should use that firebending for instant speed, red, or activated abilities generally. Next up, we have Fire Nation Palace. This is $1.95. This is a land. This land enters tapped unless you control basic, which shouldn't be a problem because we should all be playing basics. And it says tap, add red mana, and then it says pay 1 and a red, tap, target creature you control gains firebending 4 until end of turn. So yes, technically this costs 3 mana to activate, and it only creates 4 red mana when you attack. So it's a little risky. If somebody removes that creature then before you attack, then you don't really get anything. You paid 3 mana for nothing. So that is the negative. The positive is that this is a land with, so it's very little opportunity cost by adding this to your deck. And 4 red mana, you could capitalize this on so many different ways. can play cards that double activated abilities when you tap this to give firebending. To give it firebending again, it does stack. So if you were to give a creature with firebending this, it would get +4 to its already existing firebending, and then you'd have even bigger mana created. You could activate the triggered ability when that creature attacks and the firebending triggers. You could double that with cards that double triggered abilities. Or you could just play extra combat spells to get that trigger again and again. So if you like what you're listening to and seeing, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button to help this channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Thanks. Bye.